Mark Hominick's hematoma. Mark Hominick received a massive hematoma during 5 rounds with Jose Aldo in UFC 129. It looked like someone sewed a baseball into his forehead. In a classic fight before 55,000 fans at UFC 129 in Toronto, Jose Aldo dominated Mark Hominick for the better part of 4 rounds, only to get dominated himself in the 5th and final round and hold on to win a surprisingly competitive unanimous decision. Aldo retained his UFC featherweight title, but Hominick gained a huge amount of respect for the heart he showed, continuing to fight despite Aldo turning his face into a bruised, bloody mess. "Take your hat off and congratulations to Mark Hominick," Aldo said after the fight. "He's a heck of a fighter and he came out for 5 rounds, giving his all." But while Hominick showed he was a heck of a fighter in the 5th round, Aldo definitely won the first 4. Despite having a face that looked like something out of a horror movie, came out like a warrior in the 5th round, got on top of Aldo on the ground for the first time and actually did some damage to Aldo with ground and pound. Aldo appeared to be exhausted, while Hominick still had plenty of steam. Over the final minutes of the fight, Hominick pounded away at Aldo, easily winning the 5th round, and showing that he was by far the better conditioned athlete. Hominick even did some push-ups in the octagon immediately after the 5th round, showing that he still wasn't tired. Hominick, whose wife was due to give birth any day, looked into the TV cameras and said to his wife after the fight, "I hope I didn't put you into labor. I know you're due any minute. I love you." The judges scored the fight 48-45, 48-46, and 49-46 for Aldo, so it wasn't particularly close. Hominick showed an incredible amount of toughness and resilience in continuing to fight, but Aldo showed that he was the best featherweight in the world, and still is, according to many. Well guys, that was our number 10 of our top 10 list of worst injuries, and there are plenty more to come, so stick around until the end. Number 1 is probably something you don't want to look at for too long. My name is Matt from Primal MMA, and I'd love to hear from you which is the worst injury in MMA history that you know of. So tell me in the comments and I'll personally reply back to you. Now let's continue with the list. Number 9. Jack Colshaw win celebration. The day Jack won, but lost at the same time. How, you may ask? After knocking out his opponent, Jack jumped on the fence of the cage to celebrate. When jumping down, you can see his leg sort of snapping in half almost. Luckily for him, it didn't actually break, but doctors think he definitely tore his ACL and twisted his kneecap, or worse. This led to him needing rehab for months. It was suspected that the fight was heavily taxing his knees already and that the jump down was just too much. So much for celebrating a win, right? Number 8. Rathonics leg break. Back in 2018, Rathonics faced off against Daniel Magic at MMA 2, but the round didn't last that long. There was some back and forth while they were on their feet, but eventually Magic would throw a leg kick, but then things went south. After the leg kick, he stepped back on his leg and it crumbled beneath him. Rathonics continued to rush him while he fell back with his leg still crumbled, but the ref immediately called the fight. Even though the ref came in between, this was still a terrifying leg break, making his leg literally look like an L. You saw all the fans terrified not being able to watch the gruesome leg. Number 7. Gabriel Benita's shin cut. Benita suffered a gruesome shin gash in his lightweight bout with Omar Morales. The cut shocked the entire MMA community as it looked very deep and wide, exposing the shin bone. Although it was gruesome, Benitez was in good spirits and recovered quickly. It was just the cut that was deep, and the doctor said they would remove the stitches in 7 to 10 days, and it's going to take 3-4 weeks for it to fully heal, so I can start kicking again, Benitez said. Number 6. James Vick orbital break. During the fight, Vick was completely dominated. One of the last punches that Andre landed broke Vick's orbital and displaced his jaw. Shortly after the fight, Vick took to Instagram to announce his retirement from fighting. The former UFC competitor announced his retirement shortly after losing to Andre Fiallo at ex-MMA during their main event fight, displacing his jaw in the process. This is what he announced afterwards. "I don't know where to start this. A few days ago, I took the worst loss of my career. I went out on my shield like I always have, like a warrior. I'm very sorry to everyone who helped and believed in me so much this last year," James wrote. Number 5. Ketag Pliev's missing finger. MMA fighter Ketag Pliev had to have a finger surgically reattached after it was severed during the second round of a fight in Philadelphia. The fight, which was part of an event put on by Cage Fury Fighting Championship and aired on UFC Fight Pass, was stopped when the referee noticed Pliev was missing his left ring finger. For several minutes, those in the venue were searching for the stray digit. Event promoter Rob Haydack said officials looked all around the cage, and there was even an announcement over the PA system asking people to look for it inside the 2300 arena. Hadak said it was ultimately discovered that the finger had come off and was lodged inside Pliev's glove all along. Number 4. Albert Gonzalez's gruesome leg break. Gonzalez's leg was broken when his opponent Tyson Miller checked a kick, leaving him hobbled in the same way Anderson Silva so infamously was in 2013. Like Silva, Gonzalez was sidelined for the last quarter of 2019 and much of 2020 before he was able to train and fight. Until the moment Zima bowed out, Gonzalez's comeback was not going well in the first preliminary card bout of the night. He appeared badly unprepared for the grappling his opponent brought to the cage, and by the end of the first round he appeared exhausted. Thankfully for him, Zima was just a bit more exhausted. Number 3. Augusto Sakai's eye cut. UFC heavyweight. Number 2. Eduardo Dantas' ankle break. Eduardo Dantas suffered a sickening broken leg as he was knocked out by Michael McDonald at Bellator 202. Eduardo Dantas probably thought his day was bad enough getting beaten in the first round of his fight at Bellator 202 on Saturday, but the pain didn't end there. Michael McDonald took less than a minute to win the bantamweight bout via TKO. He opened with a body kick and then after a brief respite was at Dantas again. An attempted knee to the abdomen was followed up by a brutal right hand that sent the Brazilian crashing to the canvas. The man they called Mayday pounced, jumping on Dantas and unleashing a barrage of punches as his opponent tried desperately to squirm away. But there was no saving Dantas as McDonald secured top position and kept hammering him with blows. The referee said enough was enough and intervened to stop the fight after just 58 seconds. Number 1. Robbie Lawler's split lip. Lawler defended his UFC strap for the first time against McDonald at UFC 189 in July of 2015 in one of the greatest fights of all time. Having previously outpointed McDonald at UFC 167 in 2013, Lawler outboxed the Canadian star prospect for the better part of 3 rounds in the rematch as well. However, McDonald turned their UFC 189 rematch upside down by landing a perfect right roundhouse kick to his ruthless opponent, putting Lawler on his jelly legs and sending him staggering towards the fence. Well, that was it for today's list. Hope you made it until the end without having to gag or close your eyes. These are the top 3 comments from our last video. Make sure to leave a comment if you want to get featured in the next one. Please like and subscribe if you liked this video and click the video end screen now to continue watching.